Hey guys, hashtag 180 family, what is going on? Dave, also known as 180 Dave, my name's Jake. Today we're hanging out and we're talking all about grip because, dude, how often do we get asked? How often would you say?
Happens a lot, man. It happens all the time.
Unending, man. We get YouTube comments, we get comments from you guys on our group page, like it's just nonstop. Teach us technique with the hands.
Yeah.
Now, here's what I want to get into. Like, I think the most important thing to preface this whole lesson on grip, on understanding how to play and really use our hands to their best capacity is to understand this first and foremost. There's no right or wrong way.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Stop the bus.
100%. 100%. The bus is stopped, man. There's
My
no...
drum teacher,
Yeah.
when I was a kid, used to have
here we
drumsticks
go.
like this.
Here we go.
And if I used to turn my hands, he used to make me practice like this and put my hands this way. And if I used to turn my hands up, he would whack me on the knuckle like a... He'd hit me. Bop. He'd give me a whack. And I used to practice. I had to practice my rudiments like that.
Okay, now, you know what, though?
Because that was wrong.
Okay, well, I want to say something, and I even say this to every student I've ever taught.
Yeah.
Because we've even had some of my students in here in the space, and we've gone through some stuff, and you guys can see those lessons. We've talked about that as well. Something if you guys can't see yet, you will be able to. But
Yes.
the goal with this is really, like, I have students, and I tell them the same thing. Listen, man, there's no right or wrong way to play, but I'm going to get you to learn it this way for now because it's going to be the most effective way for you to get done what I think you need to get done, right?
Yes.
So your teacher was right in teaching you a way and saying, hey, man, this is the way I think you need to learn for now. But saying this is the right way, what ends up happening is you're on the playground, some other kid picks up sticks, you're like, yo, dude, hold them wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no, dude, it was wrong. It was wrong. My teacher said, man. My teacher said it's wrong, dude. He's even hit me on the knuckles, bro, right? As opposed to, like, really knowing that I think there's good approaches and bad approaches. But at the end of the day, like, I've seen guys hold their sticks. We had Marcus Finney in here, right?
Yeah.
Marcus Finney literally taught a jazz lesson holding his stick like a club. Now, would I ever suggest a student learn to play that way? Absolutely not. But there's actually some finesse in what he's doing. Because even though it looks like this grip, he's not hitting the drum like this. It was like a really loose, you can see in the overhead cam. See how loose that gap is between my hand? That was what Marcus was doing. So... You know, and Marcus doesn't play like that all the time. It was a technique he used. So I think grips are simply another way we use our body to create expression and sound and pull sound out of drums on the drum set. Make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Cool. So that's the goal. So what I'm going to do today, I just want to preface this by saying I'm going to teach you some things that I think are most effective. But again, there's no right or wrong way. All right? So here's the way I have found myself being able to have great speed, great control, so that, like, you know, if we're playing paradiddles, see, you know, something like a 6-stroke roll. All those things where I need to be able to switch back and forth between doubles and singles fast, right? Whatever I'm trying to do, I want to be able to do all that stuff and still be relaxed so that while I'm doing it, I can talk to you guys. It's super comfortable. Like, that's the goal. I can speak over my playing and it's just relaxed. I'm not, right? That's what we're trying to avoid. Because even a guy like Aaron Gillespie, who's hitting super hard, I promise you this. There's people that will be like, man, that guy has bad technique or he's hitting too hard. There's no way. How hard does Aaron hit?
He broke our TV. Seriously,
Oh,
he
that's
hits
right.
so hard. He hits so hard.
He was hitting so hard that our TV was actually flashing. The
Yeah.
impact of the sound was actually making the TV flash. But you know what? There's no way that he could do that for 2 hours a night. Like, I just went and saw Aaron play.
Yeah.
2 hours a night. There's no way he could do it if he had zero technique.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to survive.
Impossible.
So
He'd have carpal tunnel. He'd have arthritis in his hands. He'd be all messed up.
So he's doing something about his own grip that has allowed him to generate that much power by using his body. Okay, so before I talk anymore, here's the first thing I want you guys to focus on. When it comes to the stick itself, the way I like to think about holding the stick is that I want to make sure no matter how I'm holding it, all my fingers are making contact with the stick. Crucial, all right? So here's how I like to hold it. While looking at the overhead cam, the first thing I like to do is do this. I make every student, and Dave, you can do this beside me, have your hands down in your lap, all right? We always want to start, like, everything is from a relaxed position, so we're super relaxed, right? Now I want you to do this. Yeah, just hands in your, like, this is the way our bodies relax, right? Your body doesn't relax like if you put it like this. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. like this, all right? So we're relaxed. Now, if I just lift my, using my elbows, lift my arm up, but keep my wrist completely relaxed. All right, good. And head up straight, good posture. Again, even with seat height, stuff like this, we'll talk about that in a minute, but just everything should feel relaxed, all right? So my hands out like this. All I'm doing when I'm teaching students how to play is putting a stick in their hand like that to start. So with Dave, I would go like this, all right? And then as he grips the stick, go ahead. Yeah, absolutely. So you see with his hand, watch, I'll do the same thing with my own hand. Hands are relaxed, right? I'm taking the stick, putting it in my hand is totally relaxed, putting it in there, and then I'm letting all the fingers come around, and I'm beginning to hold it a little bit, but it starts from that relaxed position. So notice, my wrist isn't like this, right? Because your hand isn't relaxed. Try and relax your hand this way.
You can't.
A little bit weird, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm holding a stick, I like to set it in a position that's relaxed, because now, when I'm hitting, do me a favor and flap your, even if you're sitting there, I know this feels silly, but just move your wrists up and down. Flap them. Totally. Dave. Oh, Dave. Elbows in.
Yeah.
Wrist like this. And just like move your wrists a little bit, just up and down. Feel how that's the natural direction your wrist moves, right?
Yes.
Like looking at his wrist, right? His wrist moves.
It's the way
up
your
and
wrist
down.
hinges, yeah.
Yeah, it's the hinge, right? So we're taking advantage of that by putting a stick in there and using that. People will say the stick shouldn't come out. I've seen amazing drummers that let the stick come out this way. Other people will say the stick has to, if we're looking at the overhead, out like this, or has to come down my arm. I think this is great too. For now, what I'm primarily teaching is it can come a little bit off the side, okay? Because that's still an extension of my grip and my playing. This can start to feel a little bit, almost a little bit too, like the wrist motion's now getting a little bit strained. Whereas when the stick's out there, it's, again, just relaxed, all right? So that's the first thing. The other thing is, I'm keeping all those fingers on the stick. Not like a guitar string where I'm trying to press down on the guitar string. Just like I'm really gently keeping all the fingers on there. Again, if we're looking at the overhead, you can just see it's really relaxed. You can even see my fingers coming out with the stick. So slow motion, right? This is the grip that we're striving for, all right? So now, here's the next thing I like to do. Once we kind of have an idea for this, I like to put sticks in students' hands and then immediately go like this. So taking that stick, putting it up the arm, holding it by the tip of the stick, leaving a little bit of room at the end like that. And then what I'm doing is if we go to, I'm not sure which cam's best here, probably just even this front-facing cam or one of them, but then I'm letting the stick relax, and I'm using my fingers, nothing other than my fingers, to play the notes. All right? So I'm going to get you to do this in 1 second. But watch how, like, even if I play single strokes, right, for everyone listening, doubles, paradiddles, right? Again, six. What's it called? Six note.
16th?
So funny. 6-stroke roll. All right. Since I couldn't even remember my rudiments. Like I can totally play like that because I'm using my fingers, right? Like I've got that control. So for you, okay. So remember, go back to that relaxed position. All right. Slap a stick in there. Stick in there. Good. And then now let yourself hold that up by the end. Good. And we are going to correct a little bit. Make sure that it's under the arm. But keep our wrists nice and relaxed so that our wrists are still... Yeah, good. Perfect. And then play... Yeah, you got a watch on, so you got to watch that. I did too. Feels a little bit weird, right?
Yeah.
Guys, weird is okay because this is a little bit new to us. So the first thing you'll notice is like, man, I don't have any finger strength, right?
Yeah, it feels weak.
Feels weak, right? Like, and I've even went as far as like, so I'll take this one from you.
Yeah.
I've even went as far as like isolating, okay, I'm just going to use my index. So these other fingers, they stay relaxed. And I use my index, which is our most comfortable finger to do this with, right?
Yeah.
Use my index and practice that, right? I'm looking at this cam over here on the side, that. And then I'll go to the middle finger and let the index relax.
Cool.
And it feels weird, right?
Yeah.
But this is building up finger strength with no support. You can see, if we're looking at the side cam, you can see my wrist is not bending with every hit, right? Same thing with the ring finger, which literally has a ring on it. Look at that. And then with the pinky, this is obviously the hardest, right? And even for me with my pinky, there's lots of work that I can do to improve that pinky. All right? So that's the first thing that I would suggest students do is take the stick, have that relaxed grip, put a stick in there, slide it to the end, and then use the weight of the stick and the rebound to practice your rudiments. Right?
Yeah.
That's a really great way. And if you don't know rudiments yet, that's fine. Just practice going right, left. And see how I'm letting the stick come down? You can see that. I'm letting the stick drop back down, but I'm forcing my fingers contact the whole time, right? So that's one really great thing. The next thing I like to do is what I call like the rebound test, all right? This is a lot of students.
I don't like tests.
Dude, a lot of students get stumped with the rebound test. Because watch, I'll do this with you. So what you want to aim for, right hand and left hand, is to be able to hit the practice pad. And this is more of an exercise than it is like a way that I play the drums. But what I'll do is I'll lift up, hit, and as soon as I'm done hitting, I let the stick come up. So if you look at the overhead cam, I let the stick completely come back there. And I'm being reckless, like I'm letting those fingers lose it, but I'm training myself to let the stick completely rebound. This means that as soon as the stick hits, there's no tension in my hand, because if there's tension, I would have to lift it up. I see a lot of students do that. They go, right? Oh yeah, I did it. It's like,
Okay,
no.
let's try it. Ready?
Get a hit and then relax. Very good. That was really good.
Great. Well,
Yeah, that's fine.
Awesome.
You're gonna drop some. That's totally normal when you're practicing this exercise.
hitting your leg there. There we go.
So that's one really, really great exercise. Then try it with the left hand, Dave. This is what stumps a lot of peeps.
Here we go. Hitting my leg there.
Good. Very good, dude. Nice.
Whoa.
That's good, man. That's actually really good that it's bouncing. Because, yeah, you want that nice and relaxed. So what I'll actually just practice sometimes is just, right? Letting the stick, you can see, if we're looking at whatever camera we're looking at, I'm just making sure that I'm letting that stick come back. And that's an exercise to practice rebound. This is dribbling a basketball. I like to think about it that way, right? When you push on a basketball, you don't push it to the ground and then try and like catch it on the way up. Your hand is just kind of always in that motion. Like you can picture me dribbling a basketball, right? It was like I'd be following the ball and creating that movement, right? I look like I'm dancing now, eh?
Yeah.
Shoot. So that's the idea there with stick playing, is just really beginning to get getting a good grip on understanding the best way to hold the stick relaxed, and then the best way to, build some finger strength. So that's fingers and wrist. The other thing you can do is you can practice, even just using your wrist for this. Keeping your fingers kind of locked and using your wrist. It's another great way you can practice it. But I think honestly, between this exercise, using the fingers, this exercise, practicing the rebound, you're going to notice a huge difference with your grip. And now in terms of how much pressure I'm applying, so here's the other thing. When I'm holding the stick like this, the way I like to picture my fulcrum is if you look at these fingers, the pressure isn't from here directly into this finger. I'm kind of putting my pressure in between those two fingers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the pressure is from here down into the thumb, and it would shoot up through the middle of those two. So that's kind of where I'm putting that pressure there. So it's not like this is my fulcrum. My fulcrum's kind of here between these two fingers. So that's the way I like to think about it. And then I like to leave some space in there so that it's relaxed. And then I'm playing. I'm just using my fingers, all that stuff through there. So this is typically called matched grip, or German grip's another name for this. This is what I like to use the most because it feels comfortable. But again, with grip, we had a great lesson with Ben Satterley where he talks about the flick and how we can use movement to, if I'm going to go over here, I can just flick over there. That's a great exercise too, right? Because sometimes you don't want to have to move your whole arm. You just want to flick over and hit that, right? And this is where the jazz of more of the French grip with thumb up happens. So when your teacher said, dude, you don't have your thumbs up, right? Yeah. That's not necessarily true at all. Sometimes you want to have your thumbs up because if you're on the ride cymbal, a lot of jazz drummers, you'll see them using a French grip because they're using that thumb to really power the stroke, right? Whereas this starts to almost become a little weird with the way my arm's bent, right? I'm losing that natural hinge of the wrist. Make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm using more of the French grip. All right, guys, so hopefully that makes sense.
So those are the basic grips.
Basic grips. Like, basically, it's like
There's other ones, you see jazz drummers playing with their sticks all sideways and stuff. What's that about, right?
Sideways. Traditional grip.
Traditional grip.
So even if we were playing traditional grip, the same rules still apply to that right hand. We can have our, kind of palm down. I like to think of it like if I put a hole in my palm right there, is it facing the ground? Or is my thumb up and that's facing out to the side now?
Yeah.
Right? See that? So the right hand stays the same. It stays the same either way. What happens is you see a lot of students, they'll be like, what is it, like this? Like, what's going on over here, right?
Yeah.
Here's the best way I can explain this, is you lay the stick in your hand, all right? You put it like that so that it's between these two fingers. Thumb goes over, all right? This is called traditional grip. And then from here, what I'm doing is I'm using these fingers, I'm using the motion of my wrist. So, okay, a couple exercises. I've heard of people going as far as practicing turning doorknobs, because turning a doorknob, like a circular doorknob, is the same motion as playing this way, right? Look,
Okay.
like that motion of, it's like turning a doorknob, right? So this is called traditional grip, and we see a lot of guys like Buddy Rich. I'm using a combination of my arm, a little bit of my wrist action, and then I'm dribbling it with my fingers, right? So I can reduce the amount of wrist motion you see happening and really begin to zero in on those fingers using it, right? You see guys like Keith Carlock who hold their traditional grip way at the back, and that's so that he can really leverage the whip and get a really strong backbeat, right?
Yeah.
Or guys like Todd Sucherman, who, still don't know how to say the guy's last name.
I don't know either.
He's got a great last name, though. I don't know how to
I don't
say
know,
it.
he's a killer drummer, though.
Sick drummer. And one of the things you see with him do, he switches a lot between the two. Like a lot, right? So, and he's got almost two different sounds, right? His backbeat almost sounds different, matched grip, compared to when he's playing this way. So, that's what we got going on traditional grip. Here's one more way you can practice it. Just like I gave you guys practical ways to practice building up finger strength, you can obviously, in this exercise as well, right? For traditional grip, what you can do is you can turn your hand over, keeping the grip the same. See how I've kept my grip the same? Just turn my hand over, and then I can get kind of lower on the pad or lift the pad. So if we look at the side, lifting the pad so that my stick is kind of naturally just the way it wants to be down. And then what I'm doing is actually dribbling it with my fingers. So say I take my middle finger. Oh, let's try that again. And I'm just kind of practicing the motion of like what is my fingers controlling and dribbling that stick. Same thing, go through it with the index.
That one's a little trickier.
Totally, man.
Yeah.
It feels weird. And it's probably because, honestly, I don't play this grip a whole lot, right? But then you can use both, right? And practice. You're just kind of practicing getting that rebounding grain so that when you switch over, and that's another great exercise, actually. It's practicing switching between the two, and just like, guys, you're just getting so much finger control by working through this stuff. It's really cool. So again, and even with that grip, it's, you can see my hand there, that motion. Whip, up, whip, up, whip. All right, now this is an extended lesson because we're talking about all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. So hang with me, because the next thing I want to talk about really briefly is the Molar Technique. All right. So once we've kind of got the hang of the actual stroke itself, the Molar Technique is all about using body motion to whip out extra strokes. So you saw with that, I wasn't just hitting here. I was using the movement of my hand coming up for that stroke to get in more notes. So I've got my main hit. It looks like this. And then what I'm beginning to do is combine that with notes that transition from there to here. So da 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 da. All right? And then the right hand is doing the same thing, where I've got my down hit. Think about it like this. A down hit, and then when I'm lifting my wrist back up, almost like someone's got a string and they're pulling just from my wrist. So if we look even at the side cam, right? We've got my wrist is like this, and someone's just pulling my wrist up by a string. Okay, so they're not lifting my arm yet, just the wrist. Just like that. And that sounds like this. Downstroke, the wrist is being lifted. Upstroke. Downstroke, the wrist is being lifted. And you got that note on the way up. So down, up, down, up.
People use this a lot on the hi-hat, right?
A lot. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of drummers, that's why a lot of you guys, the right hand is so much stronger than the left hand. It's actually...
Your left hand sucks.
Left hand sucks. A lot of it's that your left hand doesn't have motion, right? That's why it sucks so bad, is because you've never trained it. Like, we even wrote in the article with Drum Magazine, we did an article called Your Left Hand Sucks, which you guys definitely got to check out.
Yeah, go grab it.
Yeah, definitely check it out. And one of the things we're talking about right now that is in line with that is that it's not that your left hand actually sucks, it's that it's an untrained sidekick, right? It can learn everything the right hand's doing. You just got to let it be a leader, right? So one of the ways you let it be a leader is you actually practice playing grooves, maybe open-handed, and letting that left hand lead. I found for myself, honestly, guys, the time that my left hand started to come together the most was as soon as I began learning some left-handed grooves. They didn't necessarily sound or feel amazing, but it was that I was giving it a chance to be a leader, right? So this motion now with the right hand, say we were learning the down-up. Well, what if I wanted to include multiple strokes on the way up? So my wrist is back, right? Stick comes down, and then and again, we're letting that rebound, this thing we were learning, it's beginning to be programmed into our drumming so that, see how it went back? And then I'm grabbing it and pulling it up for the rest of those strokes. So now I can kind of get this sound. I can either have one downstroke, which looks like this, or one upstroke, sorry. Up, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, which allows me to get way more speed than if everything was down, right? I can go. You can really see that on the overhead. It's super obvious. What if I wanted to include multiple strokes? That's the idea, right? That's the goal. And that's like just using only fingers there. The problem with only using fingers is that there's no power. You start to lose a lot of the power.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're using that Molar technique, you're kind of keeping some of the power. So what Dave's talking about on the hi-hats is that you see a lot of drummers, they're playing their downstroke here, and they're blowing boom, tss, pa, tss, boom, tss. Look at the motion. Down, up, down, up, down, up. If I was playing like a fast 16th, or I wanted to go tss, 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 pa, tss, tss, tss. Look at that. Down, up, down, up, up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 E and 3 E and right? Mm-hmm. So this is grip, guys. Like, I think this is a lot of stuff that people don't ever really talk about, to be honest. At least not in a way that's showing you some really great exercises to build the strength and to build the fact that you're using both your fingers and your wrist at the same time, and you got to make sure that they're all working cohesively. So this has been kind of like a big masterclass for the hands. I'm really interested in knowing, guys, like, what are the rest of the questions that you guys have? What do you find is your biggest weak spot? Yeah. Like, we can't cover everything because no matter what, we're going to have you guys, someone's going to be like, man, I really struggle with this. If you have pain in your you know, like in your wrists anywhere, you have pain in your fingers, that's a really good reason for you to reassess your playing.
If you have pain anywhere when you're playing the drums, something needs to be adjusted.
Yeah, I would totally agree. Like, you have to adjust something. I mean, even seat height, right? Like, don't be sitting too low. We're going to talk about that more in depth in a minute, but the goal is, like, really don't be sitting too low. You want to just sit in a way that is like not sitting on your couch. You're sitting like you're ready to perform something, because if you're so relaxed you're sitting on your couch, you're out of the element. You want to be playing the drum set, not letting the drum set play you, right? And even that, there's no rules, because there's guys that sit way higher than I would ever let a student sit, and they're better drummers than me, and there's guys that sit way lower than I'd ever tell anybody to sit for the sake of their hips, and yet they're amazing drummers. Like Dave Grohl sits really low, right? Aaron Gillespie sits kind of low, but then there's guys like Aaron Sterling sits really high. Keith Carlock sits really high, right? It's just all vibe. Marcus Finney sits kind of high. Marcus Finney, he sat pretty high. Yeah. Stanley Randolph actually sat to me what would kind of be comfortable, which tells me that he's sitting kind of low for his height, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, guys, it's a lot of it's feel, a lot of it's preference, but this is going to be a great way for you to get started getting control of your hands.
There you go.
Boom.
If you have any questions, pop them in the comment blocks below.
Comment blocks, baby.
Comment blocks below.
All right, guys. Yeah, and that's it. Hit us up. We'll definitely be happy to answer anything for you guys. In the meantime, we'll see y'all later.